Okay, this is ITS128 video number 2, and today I'm going to go over some questions that you may have on the challenge activities and on the labs for chapter 1. So let's see. You were telling me which challenge activity was it that you were having a problem with?
1.3.4.
Okay,
and I believe the next one after that as well.
Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, the 1.3.4. This one. Okay. All right. So why don't I do this one? All right. So read two numbers from user input. Okay. Then print the sum of the numbers. Okay. So copy and paste the following code. Then type where the question marks are to finish the code. So basically, here's code here, but there's question mark there and there. So we're supposed to replace that. So I'm going to copy this. Copy. And I'm going to paste it down here. Paste. And so there it is. And so now I have to replace. Okay, so this is supposed to read two numbers. So it reads a number, and then it reads another number, and then it prints out the sum of the two numbers. Prints the sum of the two numbers. So that's done. So it looks like this should be copy this and paste it here and replace that question mark with this. And then this should be num1 plus num2, so num2. And so this is basically what the answer. So if we run, we see that it tests, does 5 and 10, and that's 15, and it does 6 and 3. Okay, does that help?
Yes.
Okay, so that was probably just some sort of thing that you didn't understand. You didn't understand what they were asking. Okay, so let's do this one. Read three integers from the user input without a prompt. Then print the product. Three of them, okay, 3 at a time. I assume we just do something like this. Tell you what, I'm going to copy this. Copy. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to paste it here. And I'm supposed to add 3 integers. 3. So I'm going to do copy, and I'm going to do enter, and then paste. Okay, and I'm going to call this num3. And then I'm going to say it's num1 times num2 times num3. Okay. All right. So let's run this. And 2, 3, 5 is 30. It's 6 times 4 is 24 times 9 is, I guess, 216. All right. Okay, what's next? Output basics. For activities with output like below, your output's white space must match exactly. See this note. See this note. All right, I'm going to open a new link. Well, whatever. Okay. Let's just see what happens. It'll tell us if we do something wrong. Write code that outputs the following. End with a new line. The dinner was excellent. Okay, I'm going to press start. Jump to level 1. Just a all right. Print this month will be superb. Period. End quote. Close the print. Check. Yes. Very good. Oh, I got a check mark there. Okay, that's great. Did I get these? Oh yeah, see these are, I got these check marks here. Oh good. This check mark.
Yeah, I think now seeing you do the first two ones, I think I was focusing too much on the example numbers they were giving and not on the code
Yes.
itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Common thing to do when you're starting out. Yeah. And that's why they do that test thing. So all right. So let me just do a couple more of these just to let's see how hard they get. Oh, write code that outputs the following. End with a new line. Oh, okay. Print sun. Print rug. All right. Okay, great. So that looks pretty easy. So are there any other challenge activities, or should I do a couple labs?
Yeah, I think now looking at what I did wrong, I think I hopefully should be okay with the challenge activities now.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, let's see. I want to try to use up or make these class periods useful in some way. So there's quite a few people that have not completed the labs. And so why don't I just start those? Because sometimes, especially since they're the first labs of the first chapter, they can be kind of confusing, like trying to understand what exactly they're asking for. So let's start with this one, Xylabs, the first one, 1.12. Okay, and this one, all right. Yeah, they ought to. Okay, so this explains. Okay, so this is the first one, so it kind of explains how it works. And what you're supposed to do is you write your program here, and then you leave it on development mode. You write your program in here, and there's going to be places where your program is asking for an input. Like right here, it asks for an input, and what you do is you put your input right there. Okay, and like if there's two of them, then you have to have two lines with the input there, and then you can run it, and then it displays the output, and you can see if the output is how it's supposed to be, is how the thing says it's supposed to be. And once you're sure it's all done, then you click on submit mode, and then you click submit for grading, and then it tells you whether then it runs through its own tests, and it tells you if you got all the points or not. And if you didn't get all the points, then you can always go back to development mode again, and keep on working on it until you can submit it and get all the points. So that's how these work. And so let's see what this is. Okay, and this is
Sorry, and then you said for if there's multiple input values, we have to separate them by creating a new line, not comma, right? In that input little block below.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of yeah. Okay. So in this one, okay, we're just supposed to get an integer input and output that integer squared, ending with a new line. Okay, that's all this is supposed to do. And then it explains how the system works down there. And all right, so this is okay. So right now, this is not doing the number squared. It's doing the number times 2. So really, this should be a multiplication. Okay, so that's the bug. And what else is it supposed to do? Is it supposed to put a new line or not? Okay, yes, this tells us everything. So, all right, so because this is going to make it so it does not print out a new line. Okay, so let's just start by going over to development mode and clicking on it and see what happens. Okay, let's see, just start this out. You click on it, and it's going to say there's no input. So, okay, there's no input, right. Of course, it's asking for an input. So let's put an input of like a 5. Okay, so now let's run the program. And it displays out 10. Well, that's 5 plus 5. It's not 5 times 5. So let's make it 5 times 5. So let's change this plus sign to a times. And okay, now let's run it. And it's 25. Yes, that's 5 squared. Okay. Now, okay, so I think I'm done. So I'm going to click on submit mode, and I'm going to click submit for grading. And it says, oh, I didn't get any points. Why? Because my output, excuse me, my output looks like this, and it's supposed to be, a new line. There's no new lines. Excuse me. All right, so the reason there's no new lines is because of this thing here. Okay, so I'm just going to take that out, and now it'll put a new line. So now let's go back here. Now, we don't really have to do this, but click run program. Anyway, that's the right answer. Oh, it looks like there's a new line here. Maybe that's what it's supposed to be. So let's submit it. Click submit and click submit for grading. And boom, look, all the tests pass. Wonderful. Okay, so I got all the points. Okay, so there. I'm done with lab 1.12 or whatever. Okay. So let's go to the next lab. I don't have COVID. It's just that I've been talking all day. All right, interleaved input, output. Okay, auto-graded programming assignments have numerous advantages. Commonly struggle. Students incorrectly create a program that outputs 5. Yeah, sure. All right. All right. The program below incorrectly echoes the user's input, to the output. Okay, so all right, so here's what this is trying to explain. you're supposed to write a program that operates like this, okay? And here's how it operates. First, it asks the user to enter a value for X. And then the user enters a value for X. And then then your program outputs X doubled is whatever it is, okay? And so, and I don't really know why they're trying to explain this to you, but if you see this here, this is here this asks the user to input a value for X, and here it does, and then this prints out the value for X, and then it prints out this X doubled is 2 times X. If we run this, okay, and I'm going to have an input of 5, and I run the program, it says enter X, 5, X doubled is 10. When I submit it, and I submit for grading, it says it's wrong because it's not supposed to have this 3 here. It's only supposed to look like this, okay? And the reason is because really in this problem, this is the user typing in the 5. Your program outputs this, and then it sits and waits for an input, and then the user types in this, and then your program writes this out. Your program does not write out the 5. This is the user typing in the 5. And so this is confusing when we're learning Python using a system like this, because really, if we were learning Python using your Python on your computer, and so now is a good time for me to show that. Let me get rid of this. And so I've got this program. Okay, let me just start from scratch. Okay, so I've opened up a new editor. It's called Notepad Plus. Can I do it from here? I've got Notepad. This isn't helping. Never mind. Okay, I've got Notepad Plus here, and I'm going to take this code here. I'm going to take this code, copy it, and go over here, and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so now I have this Python code, and I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it on the desktop, and I'm going to call it test.py on the desktop. Yes, I know it's there. And so it is, I think it's, where's test.py? Oh, here it is, right here on the desktop. That's this program, desktop test.py. And so this prints out, okay, so now I have installed Python on my computer. I went to python.org and clicked around and installed it on my computer. And I think I showed this to you last time, but here I've opened up a Windows prompt CMD line, and I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to go here. So I just need to do CD desktop. And here I am. And so now I can run this Python test.py. I think I might have shown you this last time. I've got 2 Pythons installed on my computer. I've got one which is Python. And when I run that, it's a version 2.7.17. Let me exit out of this. I also have this version 3 and there I just do py, and I get my version 3.9. So I like my version 3.9 better. So when I run my programs, I'm going to use py instead of Python. But sometimes I might, and I may want to show you the differences between the versions. But anyway, So let's run this program and see what it looks like. So I'm going to do, let me exit out of here. And so let me go py test.py, and what happens, it asks me to enter X, and I'll enter 5, and then look, it prints out 5 again, you see. So of course, if you're debugging it on this system, on a system like this, which is how you would normally run a Python program, you normally don't run it in a browser. You normally run it on at least at the command line like this. You would never print out this 5, so you would never, have this line in there. Okay, you would just have this. Okay, and so if I save this and then I run it again, let me run it again. It says enter X, and I say 5, and then its outputs X doubled as 10. And so this is exactly, what is being described right here. Okay, and really, if we take this here, well, anyway, so this is the correct answer. So it's actually, this here without this, which is exactly this. So I don't have that print. I don't print X. I leave it alone. That's the user. That's the user typing in the X, answering the question. And so this is the proper answer. So now when I see what this looks like in development mode, I click Run Program, and this is what it's going to look like. See? This is confusing because it's telling you want it to look like that, and then really when you're debugging your thing using this silly browser way of learning Python, this is the correct answer. I'll prove it. I'll click Submit Mode, and I'll submit this for grading. And lo and behold, I got all the points, 2 out of 2. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to very often write my programs using an editor program like this. I could use Notepad. This is Notepad++. It's free. It's got a bunch of extra features in there. It makes different colors and so on. And it handles the tabbing and so on that Python, the indentation pretty well that Python requires. And then I'm going to just run it at the command line like this. And then later on in the semester, I'll show you some development environments that have other features for when you're debugging Python, especially when you're accessing files and so on. So anyway, so that's the answer to that one. It's 401. So what's the next one here? Hello world. Write a program that outputs hello world for all labs, end with a new line unless otherwise stated. So you're supposed to write a program that outputs hello world. This is pretty easy. I'll show you. Hello world, exclamation point. Now, this thing is finicky, okay? So let's do it where I'm sloppy with the caps. So I'm gonna do this. Okay. Submit for grading. Up, see? So you gotta do the right thing. There you go. Look at that. 10 points. Wow. Now, you might be curious about this signature of your work. Okay, and it'll explain it to you. But really, what it is, I don't think I'm ever going to look at it, but I might if I get suspicious. And what it is it's sort of a signature of how many times you tried, how many times you worked on this to before you got the right answer. And so as you're debugging and you're over here in development mode, it's gonna, indicate that. It's gonna indicate the days that you worked on it. Then if you click over to submit mode and you actually submit, it records that, it codes that in here. And so if you're someone that sits in these, this will happen in later. This will happen more in later labs, but this signature thing can get quite long, as you're debugging your code. And the idea here is that I can tell if it's some big long program and the signature of your work is really short, and maybe there's just nothing there, or just all there is there is that you typed your code in and it worked perfectly the first time, then I might get suspicious that you actually copied somebody else's code. Okay, well, that's ridiculous, because I like debugging my code in an environment like this, using this, okay? And so if I'm over here debugging my code using this, and then after it's all running perfectly, then I paste it right in here, okay? And then I submit it and I get it right the first time. Well, it's not because I copied it from somebody else, it's because I got it running on some other development system. So anyway, that's what this is. And I don't know, I might it'd be a good if I were gonna do maybe a quiz or something. I don't know. But I don't have any plans on really using this. Also, I don't mark off for late work as long as it doesn't go past the last time that I can submit a grade. So I want you to keep up. But if you should happen to fall behind, and like spring break or something, you jam through a couple, 3-4 chapters to catch up. Let's say that could happen. I could find out, if you did that by going and looking at the signature because it's got the dates. Well, it turns out that I don't care when the dates are. It's just that at the end, the work has to be here. And so that's why I don't really plan on really using the signature there in the near future. All right, so what's this one? Formatted output, no parking sign. Okay, so you're supposed to write. You're supposed to write a program that outputs this, and so and you have to pay attention to spaces. So the way I would do this is I would have two print statements. The first print statement has, in quotes, it's got quote space NO space PARKING end quote, all caps, and then close the quote, close the parentheses. And then on the next line have another print statement that has quote, 2 colon, this space, this to here, end quote. So that's pretty easy. And there's no input. All right, what's next? Welcome message. Okay. It takes the first name as an input and it outputs a welcome message to that name. So if the input is Pat, the output is hello Pat and welcome to CS Online. So here they already have the asking part, and you see that the variable name is this. So what you do is you have a print. You have a print where, and this can be all. This should be all one print statement. So you have a print where this is in quotes, and then you have a comma, and then you have the username, and then you have a comma, and then you have this. So you can do something like, I'm going to do print, I'll do the first part, print hello, close quote, comma, username. And then I'm going to end it right there, okay? And you can see what this looks like. I have it in development mode, and I'm going to click run program, and it goes, boom. Oh, that's right, I'm supposed to type something in here. So I'm going to do Joe. And so when I run the program, I see that it prints out, okay, so this is wrong, should be capital. But then look, there's a space here, and then it prints out Joe. So that's how, they're having you type spaces there. So that means that you don't have to do anything fancy. You can just put a comma there, and it will put a space in there. So it's going to print the first word, which should be this. And then you just put a comma, and then you put the name of the input, and it will put a space there. If it didn't put a space there, then you got to do something different. But as long as it's a space here, a space here, a space here, and so this is going to be what follows. So anyway, just like that. All right. What's next? So this one, oh, Mad Lib. Is this the last one? All right. So anyway, Mad Libs are activities that have a person provide various words, which are then used to complete a short story in unexpected and hopefully funny ways. Complete the program to read the needed values from input. The needed values from input that the existing output statements can use to output a short story. So let's say that your input is you're asking for, you got 4 inputs. Input 1 is a name of something, and input 2 is I don't know, something to eat or something. No, a place. It's a place, and this is some number, integer number, and these are some things. Okay, looks like, and so it takes the name, and then it prints out went to, and then it prints out the second one here, the name of the place, and then it prints out to buy, and then it prints out this integer number, and then it prints out different types of, and then it prints out this last word here, which is plural of objects or something. Oh, look at here. First name went to place to buy some integer number, whole number, and then these words, different types of this. So we're supposed to write the code here that inputs these things. Well, there's going to be one for this one, input, and there's going to be one for this one, copy, paste, equals input, and so on, all 4 of them. And oh, we're going into chapter 2 already. So so anyway, Let's see what happens when we run this. I'm going to do this. Whole number equals 40. And I'm not going to define that. I'm going to see what happens when this happens. I'm going to go run program. It's going to say as expecting some input. Expects input. So I'm going to do Joe, Subway, some number 50, and then what was the last one? Oh, some things, sandwiches. And now when I run the program, it says, it actually outputs this error. And so we actually have to do something with that. And so let's do something like plural noun equals, I don't know, computers. So now when we run it, we see Joe went to Subway to buy 40 different types of computers. Well, the 50 should be this one, which is this one, and the sandwiches, this one should also be asking for an input. So you got to fix that, and then this will probably you'll probably get it right after that. All right. Well, so that's pretty good. It's a little early, but I have finished all of the labs in chapter 1. And let me unshare my screen. I've finished all the labs in chapter 1. And so there's still going to be a couple more sessions this week, but we're in week 2. So I'll have time to do some of the challenge activities and labs in chapter 2. So we'll be all caught up, and we can move on from there. So if there's no questions, I will see you tomorrow, I guess. Thanks for watching.